They said he was broken. They said he'd never rise again. They said his story was over. But what they didn't know was that sometimes being broken is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of a new one. A broken man is not a weak man. He's someone who has faced the fire, felt the pain, and stood on the edge of giving up, but didn't. He's the one who has watched his dreams fall apart in front of him, yet somehow found the strength to start again. You see, the world glorifies perfection, but it's the cracks that let the light in. It's the wounds that make you wise. A broken man knows the silence of empty rooms. He knows the weight of sleepless nights. He's been betrayed, forgotten, misunderstood. But he also knows something powerful. That strength doesn't come from what you can do. It comes from what you thought you couldn't do, but did anyway. When a man breaks, he faces two choices: remain shattered or rebuild himself piece by piece. Rebuilding hurts. It means confronting your own failures, your fears, your regrets. But that pain can become your purpose. That darkness, if you walk through it, can lead you to light. The truth is, being broken changes you. It humbles you. It teaches you what truly matters. You stop chasing approval. You stop pretending. You stop living for the world's applause and start living for something deeper. Peace. A broken man learns that happiness isn't found in having everything. It's found in appreciating the little things. The sunrise after a sleepless night. The kind word from a stranger. The courage to take one more step when your legs want to give out. And when he finally stands again, when he rises from his ruins, he's not the same man he once was. He's wiser. He's stronger. He's softer in heart, but tougher in spirit. He no longer fears being broken because he knows now that even shattered glass can reflect light. So if you feel broken today, if your heart is heavy, if your life feels like a collection of pieces, don't hide your pain. Don't numb it. Face it. Embrace it, because the pieces you're holding can still build something beautiful. Remember, the strongest steel is forged in the hottest fire. The tallest trees grow from the deepest roots. And the most powerful souls are those who have been through hell and still choose to love, still choose to hope, still choose to try again. A broken man is not finished. He's reborn. He's a reminder that no matter how dark it gets, there is always light waiting on the other side of pain. So stand tall, even if you're standing on broken ground, because your scars are not signs of weakness. They're proof that you survived what was meant to destroy you. And maybe, just maybe, your story, your broken, beautiful, unfinished story, will give someone else the courage to rise too. Scars are proof of survival, not weakness. They tell stories of strength, endurance, and courage. Stories written in pain, but remembered in victory. Every scar, whether visible or hidden deep within the heart, is evidence that we faced something that tried to destroy us, but didn't succeed. It's easy to look at our wounds and feel ashamed, to wish they weren't there, to hide them from the world. But what if we began to see them for what they truly are? Not marks of defeat, but symbols of resilience. When a man is broken, he stands at a crossroads. He can either let the pain define him or let it refine him. The difference lies in perspective. Brokenness doesn't mean you're finished. It means you've been tested. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has walked through seasons of breaking, moments where everything seemed lost, where faith was fragile, and where hope was hard to hold on to. But those same people are the ones who learned how to stand again, not because they were unbreakable, but because they refused to stay down. A scar means healing has taken place. It means the wound closed, the bleeding stopped, and life continued. It's a silent reminder that time moves forward, that pain can soften, and that growth can follow even the deepest hurt. Yet in a world obsessed with perfection, we often forget that imperfection is what makes us real. People are drawn to authenticity, to those who have fallen broken and rebuilt themselves. Because behind every scar lies a story that can inspire others to keep going. Imagine a man who has lost everything: his dreams, his purpose, his belief in himself. He walks through his days carrying invisible wounds, the kind that don't show on the surface, but burn quietly inside. People might see his smile and think he's fine, but deep down he's fighting battles no one knows about. Then one day, something shifts. Maybe it's a word of encouragement, maybe it's a prayer, maybe it's the realization that life still has meaning beyond the pain. Slowly, he starts to heal. The cracks in his heart begin to close. He's still scarred, yes, but he's stronger than he was before. That's the power of survival. You can't fake it, and you can't rush it. It takes courage to keep living after life has torn you apart. It takes faith to believe that something good can still come out of something so painful. The scars we carry are not there to remind us of what broke us. They remind us of what couldn't. They remind us of every storm we've endured and every night we thought we wouldn't make it through. They whisper to us, "You survived." We often compare ourselves to others who seem untouched by pain, but no one's life is without scars. Some people just wear theirs differently. Some hide them, others flaunt them. But the truth is, everyone carries something. Scars may not always look the same. Some are physical, some emotional, and some spiritual. But all of them represent transformation. What once hurt now holds wisdom. What once felt unbearable now gives purpose. When you look back on your journey, you'll realize that your scars have shaped you into the person you are today. They taught you empathy, patience, and compassion. They made you more understanding of others' struggles. They showed you that strength isn't about being unshaken. It's about learning to rebuild yourself, even when everything around you is falling apart. There is beauty in brokenness, but only when you stop hiding it. Too many people try to erase their past or pretend it never happened, but your story matters. Someone out there needs to hear how you survived. Someone is looking for proof that it's possible to come back from pain. And you, with your scars, are that proof. You're living evidence that healing happens, that light returns, and that hope can rise again from the ashes of despair. So instead of running from your scars, wear them proudly. They are not ugly. They're honest. They are not shameful. They're sacred. They represent a battle you fought and won, even if it took time to stand again. A scar is not the end of your story. It's the part where the hero rises stronger, wiser, and braver than before. Sometimes we think strength means never breaking, but that's not true. Real strength is being broken and still choosing to love, still choosing to believe, still choosing to keep moving forward. The broken man who rebuilds himself doesn't just survive, he transforms. He learns to appreciate life in a way he never did before. He becomes more grounded, more grateful, more aware of what truly matters. His scars no longer represent pain. They represent peace. Life has a way of testing every part of who we are. It challenges our faith, our patience, and our resilience. And though it hurts, those tests reveal our true character. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every disappointment adds another layer to our strength. That's why scars should never be hidden. They're the chapters of your story that show where you've been and how far you've come. A broken man doesn't have to stay broken. The world may have shattered him, but the same world can't stop him from rebuilding. He may move slower now, speak softer, and trust more carefully, but he moves with wisdom because he knows what it feels like to lose everything and still rise again. He knows that every scar on his soul has meaning, and that meaning is power. Scars are proof that we've lived through something that once seemed impossible to endure. They prove that pain doesn't last forever, but strength does. And when you finally accept them, not as reminders of what hurt you, but as reminders of what healed you, you begin to see that nothing was wasted. Every scar has purpose, every struggle has value, and every broken piece can still create something whole. So if you're standing today feeling broken, don't lose hope. Don't despise your scars. One day, they'll tell the story of how you made it through the hardest season of your life. One day, you'll look back and realize that your scars didn't make you weaker. They made you unstoppable. Scars are not symbols of weakness. They are medals of honor. They are the proof that you faced the storm, stood in the rain, and came out standing. They are the evidence that no matter what tried to destroy you, it couldn't win. Pain can become purpose. Those 4 words hold the secret to transformation. Every person who has ever achieved greatness, peace, or meaning has walked through pain. No one is born strong. They are shaped by the fires they survive. Life breaks everyone in some way, through loss, failure, betrayal, heartbreak, or disappointment. But not everyone stays broken. Some choose to rise, to rebuild, to turn that pain into something powerful, something that gives their life meaning. Pain changes the way you see the world. When everything falls apart, when people leave, when dreams crumble, you begin to see what truly matters. You stop chasing things that once seemed important, and you start seeking purpose. The emptiness that pain leaves inside of you can either destroy you or become the very space where something new is born. A stronger version of yourself, a deeper understanding of life, a greater compassion for others. At first, pain feels unfair. It feels cruel and senseless. You ask questions like, why me? Or, what did I do to deserve this? But with time, if you don't let that pain define you, you start to realize that pain isn't punishment. It's preparation. It's shaping you for something greater. It's teaching you patience, resilience, empathy, and faith. It's showing you that even in your lowest moments, there is still strength within you that you didn't know existed. When you've been broken and had to rebuild, you start to live with a different kind of courage. You no longer fear failure because you've already faced it. You no longer seek approval because you've already been rejected. You no longer doubt your strength because you've seen yourself survive what once seemed impossible. That's how pain becomes purpose. It gives meaning to your suffering, direction to your wandering, and power to your story. Many of the world's most inspiring people were once broken beyond belief. They didn't rise because life was kind to them. They rose because they decided to use their pain as fuel instead of chains. The artist who paints from heartbreak. The speaker who once stuttered in silence. The leader who grew up in poverty. The survivor who turns their trauma into a message of hope. They all took what was meant to destroy them and turned it into something that could heal others. That's the essence of transformation, turning pain into purpose. When you stop running from pain and start listening to what it's trying to teach you, everything changes. Pain often speaks the truth we ignore. It tells us what needs to change. It reveals who we really are. It breaks down our ego and rebuilds our heart. It takes away what's false so that what's real can grow. You may lose things you once thought you couldn't live without, but in their place, you gain strength, clarity, and peace that no one can take from you. The process of turning pain into purpose isn't easy. It takes time, patience, and forgiveness, especially forgiveness toward yourself. Sometimes the hardest part isn't healing from what others did to you. It's healing from what you did to yourself in the process. The regrets, the guilt, the shame, they can keep you chained to your past. But when you realize that even your mistakes were part of your journey, you begin to see that nothing was wasted. Every tear, every scar, every sleepless night, all of it was shaping you for this moment. There will come a day when the pain you feel now becomes the story you tell to inspire someone else. You'll look back and realize that what once hurt you actually helped you. That what once felt like an ending was really a new beginning. Pain doesn't disappear overnight, but it does evolve. It softens. It transforms. It turns from something that breaks you into something that builds you. The most beautiful souls are those who have known pain and still choose to love. The ones who have been through darkness and still choose to shine. They don't just survive. They serve. They use their stories to lift others, to remind them that no matter how broken they feel, there's still a way forward. That's what purpose does. It turns your suffering into service. It makes your existence meaningful, not just for yourself, but for everyone you touch. So if you're walking through pain right now, if life feels heavy, if you're wondering why everything seems to be falling apart, hold on. Don't rush the process. Pain has a purpose, even if you can't see it yet. The same fire that burns you also refines you. The same storm that shakes you also roots you deeper. Every heartbreak, every failure, every disappointment is pushing you towards something greater. The version of you that you were always meant to become. You are not defined by what broke you. You are defined by what you do after the breaking. You can choose to stay in pieces, or you can choose to gather those pieces and build something beautiful out of them. You can let pain make you bitter, or you can let it make you better. You can let it close your heart, or you can let it open your eyes. When you finally turn your pain into purpose, you stop seeing your past as something to hide and start seeing it as something to share. You become a light for those still walking through the dark. You become proof that even the most painful experiences can produce the most powerful people. And that's the greatest victory. Not escaping pain, but transforming it. In the end, the purpose of pain is not to destroy you, but to awaken you, to remind you that you are stronger than you think, braver than you believe, and more capable than you ever imagined. You were not meant to stay broken. You were meant to rise, to rebuild, and to inspire. So let your pain speak. Let it guide you. Let it shape you into someone who no longer hides from their story, but owns it. Because one day, someone will need the wisdom that only your scars can teach. And in that moment, you'll understand the truth that pain was never your enemy. It was your greatest teacher, your silent sculptor, your path to purpose. And when that day comes, when you stand tall and look back at all you've overcome, you'll realize something beautiful. The pain didn't break you. It built you. It led you here to a life filled with meaning, strength, and light. That's the miracle of transformation. That's the power of turning pain into purpose. There comes a moment in every person's life when everything seems to fall apart, when the world turns its back, when dreams collapse, and when the heart feels too heavy to carry. You look around and see nothing but the ruins of what once was. You question your worth, your purpose, and even your existence. That's the moment when you feel broken, not just in body, but in spirit. Yet what if I told you that this moment, the one you fear the most, could actually be the moment where your real story begins? Brokenness doesn't mean failure. It means transformation. When something breaks, it exposes what was hidden inside. When a seed cracks, life begins. When the night grows darkest, the dawn is closest. The same is true for us. Sometimes life has to break us apart just to rebuild us into something stronger, wiser, and more beautiful than before. When you are broken, you see the world differently. You begin to understand the true value of strength, not as the absence of pain, but as the decision to keep going despite it. The broken man learns to rise from the ashes, not because it's easy, but because staying down means surrendering his purpose. He realizes that every scar, every wound, and every tear has shaped him into someone capable of enduring, loving, and giving more deeply than ever before. People often see brokenness as weakness. They think a broken man is defeated. But they are wrong. A broken man is someone who has faced the fire and survived. He's someone who has been tested by life's hardest moments and has chosen not to give up. Brokenness reveals your limits, but it also reveals your power. It teaches you humility, compassion, and resilience. Qualities that only pain can awaken. In those moments of despair, when you feel like you have nothing left, that's where your new beginning hides. When the noise of the world fades and you're left alone with your thoughts, you begin to see who you really are. You start to rebuild slowly and painfully. At first, it feels impossible. But day by day, piece by piece, strength returns. The broken man learns to live again, not for approval, not for perfection, but for truth. You start realizing that happiness doesn't come from having everything you want. It comes from appreciating everything you still have. The sunrise after a sleepless night, the gentle smile from a stranger, the sound of your own heartbeat reminding you that you're still here. These moments, once overlooked, become sacred. The brokenness that once made you cry now helps you see the beauty in imperfection. You start to understand that being broken doesn't make you less. It makes you real. Every great story begins with a struggle. Every strong soul has a history of pain. The most beautiful people are often the ones who've been through the most and still choose to love. Because when you've been broken, you know what it means to hurt. And that understanding makes you kinder. The broken man no longer mocks others for their pain. He carries it with them. He becomes a light for those still lost in the dark. Sometimes life breaks you not to destroy you, but to remove the parts of you that were never meant to stay. The ego, the pride, the illusions. They all fall away in the breaking. What's left is something purer, truer, and more aligned with who you're meant to be. Brokenness humbles you. It teaches you to surrender control and trust that even when you can't see the path, life is still guiding you toward purpose. It's okay to break. It's okay to cry. It's okay to not have all the answers. What matters is that you don't stop there. Don't let your pain define you. Let it refine you. Because your story doesn't end with your brokenness. It begins with what you do next. When you decide to rise again, even when everything in you wants to quit, you take back your power. You tell the world, I am not finished yet. The broken man doesn't seek revenge on life. He learns from it. He learns that not all endings are failures. Some are simply turning points. He learns that real success isn't about avoiding pain, but about growing through it. He learns that love, faith, and hope are not luxuries. They are lifelines. One day when you look back, you'll realize that the moments you thought would destroy you were actually the ones that shaped your strength. You'll see that every tear watered your growth, and every fall taught you how to rise higher. You'll understand that your brokenness was not a punishment, but preparation for something greater, something beyond what you could have imagined. So, when you find yourself in the middle of the storm, when your heart is in pieces and your mind is clouded with doubt, don't give up. You are not broken beyond repair. You are being rebuilt, redefined, and reborn. Every great masterpiece begins with chaos. Every diamond is formed under pressure. And every strong man was once broken. There's beauty in your cracks. There's power in your scars. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become. Don't hide your brokenness. Embrace it. It's proof that you've lived, that you've felt, that you've fought. Let your scars tell your story. Let them remind you and the world that brokenness is not the end. It's the place where true strength begins. So stand up. Take a deep breath. Look at the pieces of your life and know that they still matter. Because when you finally put them together again, you won't be the same person you were before. You'll be better, stronger, wiser, whole in a different way. Brokenness is not your final chapter. It's your turning point. The end of who you were and the beginning of who you are meant to become. And when you rise again, because you will, the world will see not just a man who survived, but a man who transformed,